Welcome to Barbara's Bulletin, the podcast where we bring you the latest news and updates from around the world. We're starting off with a story that's been making headlines in recent days: the ongoing situation between the US and Iran. As you may know, talks between the two countries, hosted by Pakistan, are hanging in the balance, and if they go ahead, they could potentially transform a temporary ceasefire into a lasting peace. But what do ordinary Iranians think about these developments? We've spoken to several residents of Tehran who have shared their mixed views on the prospect of a peaceful resolution. Some are anxious about the uncertainty surrounding the talks, while others are skeptical about the chances of a deal being reached. One resident, Amir, a 40-year-old artist, believes that the temporary agreement and negotiation will not last, citing the Iranian government's repressive apparatus as a major obstacle to peace. He thinks that the regime has been strengthened by the war and that they don't understand the concept of peace. Others, like Shida, a 38-year-old woman, are worried about the return of terrifying U.S.-Israeli airstrikes, but at the same time, they're scared of the regime staying in power. They feel that the people in power have become even more aggressive and that oppression will intensify further if the war doesn't lead to the downfall of the regime. The U.S. president's shifting goals and apocalyptic threats have also been a source of concern for many Iranians. Some have questioned his sense of strategy and humanity, given his threat to destroy a whole civilization if Iran didn't reopen the Strait of Hormuz. As we continue to follow this story, it's clear that the situation is complex and multifaceted. We'll be keeping a close eye on developments and bringing you updates as more information becomes available. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Barbara's Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. We're taking a closer look at a developing story out of Queensland, Australia, where a state politician has passed away. Jimmy Sullivan, a 44-year-old member of the Queensland Parliament, was found deceased, sending shockwaves throughout the community. As we delve into the details, it's essential to acknowledge that Sullivan's life was marked by both achievements and challenges. He was first elected in 2020 to the seat his father once held, and he worked tirelessly as a local representative. However, his tenure was also marred by controversy, including an incident at his home in 2024, which led to him taking leave from Parliament. Sullivan's struggles with post-traumatic stress disorder and addiction issues were well documented, and it's crucial that we approach this topic with sensitivity. He had spoken publicly about his battles and had sought help, demonstrating a commitment to addressing his health concerns. The response from Queensland's leaders has been one of condolence and support for Sullivan's family. Premier David Crisafulli expressed shock at the news and extended heartfelt condolences to those affected. Opposition leader Stephen Miles also released a statement, offering thoughts and prayers to Sullivan's loved ones. As we reflect on this story, it's essential to remember that mental health and addiction are complex issues that affect individuals from all walks of life. It's crucial that we prioritize empathy and understanding rather than stigma or judgment. The investigation into Sullivan's death is ongoing, and we will continue to monitor the situation, providing updates as more information becomes available. For now, our thoughts are with his family, friends, and colleagues during this difficult time. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. As we wrap up today's show, I'd like to bring to your attention a significant development in the world of journalism and government transparency. A U.S. judge has ruled that the Pentagon is violating a court order to restore press access to credentialed reporters covering the Department of Defense. The ruling comes after the New York Times and other news organizations challenged restrictions imposed on them in 2025, which included revoking press passes for journalists who solicited unauthorized military personnel to disclose classified or unclassified information. The judge had previously blocked these restrictions, citing violations of protections for news gathering and due process in the U.S. Constitution. However, the Pentagon released a new interim policy that the judge says is a blatant attempt to circumvent a lawful order of the court. This policy bars reporters with press passes from entering the building without an escort, sets up rules governing when a reporter can offer anonymity to a source, and leaves in place other rules that the court order rejected. The New York Times has praised the ruling, calling the Pentagon's revised policy a poorly disguised attempt to violate the legal rights of journalists. The Pentagon, on the other hand, claims it has fully complied with the court's order and plans to appeal the latest ruling. This case highlights the ongoing tension between the government's need to protect sensitive information and the public's right to know what their government is doing. As we strive for transparency and accountability in our institutions, it's essential to ensure that journalists can do their jobs without undue restriction. The implications of this ruling are far-reaching, and we'll be keeping a close eye on how it unfolds. For now, it's a reminder that the struggle for press freedom and government transparency is ongoing, and it's up to all of us to stay informed and engaged. That's all for today's Barbara's Bulletin. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay engaged.